you can't afford my fucking time. You're a little boy compared to what I grew up in. I grew up in.
What's going on?
Well, we can't communicate. You're talking about.
Well, good for you. I don't really care about whether or not you can. I don't care about what you're talking about, bro.
I know you don't because you're the new generation. None of you guys care what we think. Why don't you record that?
Yeah, I want to hear what you got to say.
None of your generation cares what we think. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You said that yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about being considerate, but yet you are very inconsiderate as I cannot hear what's going on.
How did you address me?
Broadcast that on the motherfucking web that I helped build.
Let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
Take care of yourself.
Can I ask you a question?
Strawberry cheesecake?
But see,
no, you can't because you can't afford my fucking time. You're a little boy compared to what I grew up in. I grew up.
No, he didn't. Let me be very clear. I want to be very, very clear. I want you to hear it from me directly. I would have beat the shit out of Corey. The life is frauds. Corey didn't beat up. Corey would have got the shit beat out of me. I would have beat the shit out of Corey. And I'm not, listen, I'm telling you, it is.
Because if you think for 1 second, that man was afraid at the Coin Academy where they have professional boxers and they have Friday night fades and he's got 5 or 10 people behind the camera and Anton Daniels is there with one security guard. You really think he was afraid of Anton Daniels? There's something wrong with you. If Corey throws hands with Anton Daniels, he loses. If he did do it, if he didn't do it, he lost. And I'm going to tell you why.
You boys don't know what you're doing. I can see that already. Do you know who you fucking with? Do you know who you fucking with? Ah, back the fuck up. Back up. You know who you fucking with? It's cell number 4 on the night.
Welcome back. Motivation Nation, it's your host, Air Gordon. Hey, listen. We're back for another one. We're doing what we do best, reactions. But this reaction is going to be a little bit different as it pertains to what we're reacting to. So we're not going to be reacting to a video this go around. We're going to actually be reacting to the Corey Holcomb Anton Daniels beef. Now, I'm just going to put on my thinking cap and I'm just going to review this thing from a logical standpoint. We're not going to pick sides here, but we got to cut this thing right down the middle and we got to look at it for what it is. Because I've been seeing a lot of videos. I've been seeing a lot of comments on what a person should have done, what they shouldn't have done. He invited him outside. He didn't go and all of those things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this thing and we're going to look at it logically and we're going to make a logical decision in real time, right? And so let's try to put ourselves in the minds of 2 different individuals that were having a conversation that ended up in being a dispute, right? Now, let's level set. So I do know who Anton Daniels is. I have seen his videos in the past. I don't particularly watch his stuff anymore. And this is my opinion. So, like I say, this is all going to be logical and fact-based. We're trying to keep our opinions out of it. But I do have to give you my opinion on each individual before we get started so that you can understand that there's no bias here. So, my thing is, I have seen Anton Daniels. I haven't been watching his stuff as of late. To me, he likes to talk too much about, I've got more money than this person. My platform is bigger than that person. Hey, all that's great and all that, but I don't tune in to hear people talk to other people that way, right? And Corey Holcomb, I have been watching him since 2008, since he was on the Foxhole with Speedy in Speedy's Comedy Corner. And so I've been watching his show for quite a while. So, but this is not in any way, shape, or form going to be biased towards that. This is going to be a logical conversation that we're going to have. And so my opinion, first of all, I'm going to give you my opinion, even though I said I'm not, but I'm going to give you my opinion about how it was handled. In my opinion, I believe that Anton Daniels went there and he pulled a play out of Charleston White's handbook. He went there to troll Corey Holcomb because in my opinion, the views are getting low, so the trolls have got to go. Because now, let's get into the facts. Here's the facts on the ground. Anton Daniels asked Corey Holcomb, as a matter of fact, he paid Corey Holcomb $500 in his chat to be on the show. That just happened either the show before this one or 2 weeks before. He got in the chat, and he's been in Corey Holcomb's chat, big upping him for a while now, right? Giving money. He's been planning this. So this was calculated. But Corey even said, hey, if that's the real Anton Daniels, I appreciate the 500. And Anton said, hey, I would like to be on the show. Corey, in good faith, said, hey, man, I think that'll be a great idea for two people with opposing viewpoints to sit down and have a good conversation, even though we may not see eye to eye. I think that'll be good for people to see. So Corey went in it with a genuine open mind. Anton Daniels, in my opinion, in my estimation, did not. I guess I'm gonna have to give my opinion on it as we get through the facts, right? So he didn't go into this thing with genuine. I'm speaking of Anton. He didn't go into this with genuine thought process, right? He went into this trying to shake something up. And I'll say this for everyone that says that Corey was scared, Corey was this, Corey was that. First of all, you have to be out of your mind to think that that Corey would have been afraid to handle this man inside the Coin Academy where he has 15 to 20 people behind the cameras, right? And Anton is there by himself with one security guard in LA in a place that he's not from. If you really think that man was afraid, there's something wrong with you. I'll tell you what was running through that man's mind. Now, because when you get to a certain age and you have something to lose, there's a lot of stuff that runs into your mind before you actually have a physical altercation, right? Because there are examples of people who talk tough, and then once hands get laid on them, they're quick to play victim, and then you have to pay the cost. Now, Corey has examples of that. This exact same thing happened to him when Zoe had to lay elbows on Ari Spears. Ari Spears had just told Zoe he would beat him up. And then after he got beat up, he laid there and then sued the man. That cost him 20 grand. He just got out of another lawsuit for having a fight at the Improv. I don't know how much he had to pay for that. Even if he didn't have to settle out of court, he had to pay attorney fees. Right? That's two different lawsuits. Now, he just got a divorce. That's another lawsuit, even though it's separate, that costs money. And no telling what other litigation that man has going on. So, and a lot of people will say, well, I would have just took the lawsuit. Yeah, all that sounds great until you getting served with legal papers. All that sounds good. All that sounds great until you getting served with legal papers. And if you've never been served with legal papers, and you ain't going to understand, this ain't the conversation for you. And so once you get to a certain age and you've acquired a certain amount of assets and a certain amount of money, fighting is the absolute last thing that you want to do. The only way that because I'm going to tell you like this. If he gets in, if Corey throws hands with Anton Daniels, he loses. If he did do it, if he didn't do it, he lost. And I'm gonna tell you why. If he did do it, they would have said, "Oh man, you got on Zoe about," and Zoe's a great person, so this is not an indictment on Zoe, right? I really like Zoe. Zoe's a very intelligent guy, but this is not an indictment. But this is what the people would have said. You got on Zoe and said Zoe had no self-control. He was the voice of reason, and he wasn't able to control his emotion. So if he had done that, that would have been the response. Okay, you don't do anything. Now he's a coward. And see, Anton knew that going in. So what Anton knew is, if this man mauls me on live YouTube, not only will I be able to say, see, emotional wreck, can't have a civil conversation. He's a Neanderthal, as he keeps going out and saying. And then there would have been a lawsuit coming. And that would have been more legal problems that this man would have had. He probably wouldn't have been able to go back to the Coin Academy. He would have probably been then trying to find next Tuesday another place to be doing his show. See, it's a snowball effect. And then all of that would have been, and then once he wakes up on Wednesday morning, he's going to be like, goodness, I lost all of this from a split-second decision to fight Anton Daniels over something that he said. See, all this stuff runs through your mind. And if you never had this experience, then none of that makes sense. If you don't have anything to lose, then yeah, fighting is your first option. But a person that has something to lose, fighting is going to be your absolute last option. Even professional fighters, fighting is their last option. Professional fighters don't want to fight, right? Not for real. I mean, if you force them to, they will. But for the most part, professional fights, hey man, you got it. Unless they feel like the threat is real. And another thing, that was a very duckish thing of Anton Daniels, right? It reminded me of Traded Places. You talking tough in the cell with, like Billy Ray Valentine when he was yelling, talking about, y'all don't know who you're messing with. You don't know who you're messing with. And then he starts yelling to the guard and telling them the cell number and what floor, trying to get help. That's all that was. That was a cry out.
You boys don't know what you're doing. I can see that already. Do you know who you fucking with? Do you know who you fucking with? Back the fuck up. Back up. You know who you fucking with in cell number 4 on the 9th.
Because if you think for 1 second that man was afraid at the Coin Academy where they have professional boxers and they have Friday night fades and he's got 5 or 10 people behind the camera and Anton Daniels is there with 1 security guard, you really think he was afraid of Anton Daniels? There's something wrong with you, right? Now, we're not on this channel. This is a comedy channel, motivation channel, so we're never advocating for violence. Never. We're never going to advocate for that. I'm just discussing what the talking points are as far as what people are saying. And so Anton had everything to gain from this because whether he did something or he didn't, it gave him something to talk about, which is exactly what he's doing. And what throws me off about it is because Anton comes across as very arrogant from his videos. He's always talking about he's richer than your favorite rapper and actor, and he's got more money than this person. He's doing it this big and that big, and his platform is so much bigger. He don't come down and deal with people. And he calls people court jesters, basketball players, entertainers, comedians. He calls those people court jesters as if he's not on the internet entertaining people as well. So I don't understand what he thinks of himself. I guess he reminds me of that movie Howard the Duck, because I feel like what he did was a duck move, straight out of Duckingham Palace. Scrooge McDuck. This is Howard the Duck's nephew. I guess it's that scene in Howard the Duck, and you don't remember it, but I'm going to throw it in here. When Howard the Duck walked out, when he walked out of the clinic, and the lady started screaming, terrified. I guess that's what he thought was going to happen, but that's not reality. There was no upside for Corey, and he knew that. And I find it strange that he came on Corey's platform because he's the main person to disparage someone's platform who's not bigger than him. But you can say a basketball player is a court jester. You can say a comedian like Corey Holcomb is a court jester all you want, right? But I can tell you one thing that those people have that you don't. They have a skill set that they've acquired over a specific amount of time where they can draw people to come see them. Can you say the same? Can you put your name on a flyer, put your name up on a moniker with 500 seats and fill it up by yourself? Corey Holcomb can, and he's been doing that for years. So the man has a skill set. Whether you like him or not, irregardless of how you feel, he travels all over the country, state to state, selling out, making money. Can you say that? Can you say the same thing? So for you to come down to this so quote unquote smaller platform that you're bigger than leads me to believe that your views, a lot of that stuff, it's not real. It's bots. A lot of that stuff probably isn't real. But one thing we do know is Corey has anywhere from 9,000 to 15,000 people every Tuesday in his live, in his chat. That's live watching. And the man comes on late at night. He has people all on the East Coast watching him to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. This is week in and week out. He can draw 15,000 people to watch his live. Can you do the same by yourself? I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't watch Anton's content anymore. So I don't know, but I'm just asking, can you get 15,000 people consistently every single week to watch you live by yourself? I'm not talking about views after the fact, because we all know that can be manufactured and that can be manipulated. I'm talking about live. Tune in. You talking by yourself. Can you go sell out 500 to 1,000 seats of you talking? Telling jokes, philosophizing, motivating, whatever you want to call it. Can you do it? So that's what I'm saying. Corey had a lot more to lose in this altercation. He had a lot more to lose in this beef, in this situation. And in my estimation, the views are low. The trolls got to go. So that means that Anton felt like, hey, man, I got to do what I got to do to get myself back popular. Because you could say what you want about Corey Holcomb, but you knew if you had a dust up with him, a brouhaha with him, the internet will be set on fire. And that's exactly what's been going on for the past week. Now you doing all these different interviews, you're getting views, and you said, oh, I want to be introduced to a new audience. But you disparage that particular audience that you said you want to be introduced to. You despise those people by your own videos and by your own accounts. So why would you want to be introduced or be accepted or have people that you absolutely do not like or do not respect watch you, especially when you have a much bigger platform with way more subscribers and allegedly way more viewers? Why would you stoop down to that level, as you would say? Because everything ain't what it seems. Just like the movie Labyrinth. Everything ain't what it seems around here. But one thing you do know is that Corey does have the following, he does have the audience, and he does have the backing, and you wanted a piece of those views. Now, in my opinion, Corey Holcomb did the right thing. He did the right thing. You can say what you want, you can feel how you want to feel. But when you got something to lose and you've been sued before, and a lot of people will say, oh, I would have took that lawsuit. Yeah, that sounds good until that legal paperwork comes to your door and you now have to spend your time and money getting yourself out of that. Yeah, that all sounds good. That I hear people, oh man, I'm willing to go down for mine. Yeah, that sounds good until you staring that go down for mine in the face. I hear that all the time. And Corey just had to pay $20,000 for the incident that happened with Zoe and Ari Spears. And Ari Spears was on there talking about everything he would do to Zoe. And then Zoe got up, handled business. And then the next thing you know, he's suing. So all I'm saying is, a lot of people say a lot of things. But then when the heat turns up on them, they don't do anything. They don't do anything that they said that they were going to do. A lot of, man, we real, man, we real. I never tell on you. As soon as they get in trouble, they start telling. And for all you people that say, well, I don't know people that go to jail. And I ain't talking about jail. I'm talking about people at your job, people everywhere. People tell, regardless. Everybody will tell on you at any point in time. So, I mean, it sounds good that, Anton said I would beat him and do this, do that. Yeah, okay, y'all, that sounds good after the fact. But when a man gets in your face and goes nose to nose, ain't no talking about going outside. If you with it, then you with it on the spot. Wherever you violate is where somebody's supposed to demonstrate. And again, we're not here to promote violence. That's not what we do here. Because when you get to a certain age, fighting ain't even really, that should be the absolute last thing that you're going to do. Because you have too much at stake. Because if you win, you lose. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you get sued. So you lose financially. If you lose, then you just lost and you have a bruised ego. But you can't win in this situation. I turned a certain age and guess what I said? There's certain places I absolutely will not go because I have no business being there because I have something to lose. I can go to a lot of places and look in the parking lot and be like, that's not the place for me anymore because I already know that if someone doesn't have something to lose and you do, then they don't care and you can't meet them where they are because if you meet them where they are, guess who loses? You. Everybody talks tough. Everybody can fight until it's time to fight. Everybody can run fast until it's time to run fast. Everything sounds good and everybody thinks they can do it in their own mind. And then they go out there and do it and then that's a wrap. So I have to say, man, listen, he did the right thing. He got a lot at stake because had he pummeled this man inside or outside, now he has a lawsuit. The Coin Academy is probably going to ask him not to come back because they don't need that type of drama there. Then he has to figure out what he's going to do with his show. Where's he going to film it next week? This is his calling card. This is how he advertises his next shows because he has this loyal following that he's built up over a specified amount of time. So then once he wakes up after the fact and he thinks about all this, it's going to be like, I let this man get me. Now I have to pick up the pieces and figure out what I'm going to do next. And Anton gets to go on every talk show and every YouTube platform and brag about everything that he's about to do to Corey. Ari Spears pulled this. He did this already. So Anton Daniels took the Charleston White, Eric Spears playbook, and he was trying to execute it on Corey, but Corey outsmarted him on that. I don't believe Anton knew what he was doing when he got there. I don't think Corey thought that it was gonna go that bad that quickly. And a lot of people are gonna say, well, Corey said this and Anton said that and all of that. Okay. All that's fine. But one thing I know is when Corey got nose to nose, he did apologize and he didn't utter those words anymore. Now, I think that it was a bit juvenile to even get that far. But different people from different parts of the country, if you say certain things to them, that's an instant altercation. And that's just what it is. And I can't be upset because the man said those words to him that could cause an instant altercation. And hey, so, you have again, you have to handle business when it's time to handle business. If a person pushes you to the point, then, you have to do what you have to do. But anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point any longer. I think I've talked long enough. But at the end of the day, I feel like Corey did the right thing. Anton, to me, that was a duck move. That was a Howard the Duck move, straight out of Duckingham Palace. I just don't. It's not respectable what you did, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, hey, jump down in the comments, y'all. Let me know. And again, if you don't have anything to lose, then probably this conversation didn't make a whole lot of sense to you. But for those that have something to lose and don't want to put yourself in position to lose everything that you worked hard for, I'm pretty sure you can understand that position. And I'm pretty sure you've been in a position where it was like, you know what? If I didn't have this, and this was 10 years ago, we would be having a completely different scenario. Because I know I've been in those situations where it's like, if I didn't have this, and this, if this had been before I acquired anything, boy, the old me would have done it. But nowadays, man, I'm not. Listen, I'm not going nowhere where I have to go to fisticuffs. Nope, not gonna do it. I only, I only train to be in shape. Right now, it's a fight for your life when you get to a certain age, and we're talking about fighting all the elements that come with living. So anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys for the next one. Out.